Hi guys, it's Nicole from the Physio Crew, and sorry if I'm looking a bit tired. It is, I think, 1:45 and I haven't had my lunch yet. But I'm doing my 15 minutes quick video round. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about how to reduce pain following neck fractures. Now, a lot of the time, the people that I see in this kind of clinic is I will see people immediately after surgery, but often I actually see people later on down the line when things haven't really progressed, or perhaps they haven't had the adequate physio that they needed at that time. And one chap, actually, I saw him 2 years. He was a young guy, he had fractured his neck when he was playing rugby, and he just, in fact, he hadn't had any physio support afterwards, which was why it took him so long. And one of the big problems that sometimes you get if you have a neck fracture is lots and lots of spasm in the muscles around your neck. Now, a lot of people don't know, but the neck is actually quite complex in the way that the muscles are formed. So you've got your big muscles, you've got your kind of upper trap, you've got your sternocleidomastoid, which is often in spasm, and the deep neck flexors, the ones that lie close to the spine, which are really, really important in the stability of the neck, they get weak and they switch off. So what we do in physio is we really, really look at, are you using your stability muscles? Are you overcompensating with the external muscles? Because if you're trying to use those big muscles, then what happens is they get tired because they're not designed for that. So the small stability muscles are designed to work at low intensity for long periods of time. The big muscles are designed to do things like throwing and running, and they can work for short periods of time with big explosive energy, but they just don't have the same type of fibers that we need to work for a low intensity for long periods of time. So that's what we help to train. So this specific guy, the guy who had 2 years following his neck fracture with rugby, and what we started to get him to do is, initially he couldn't move. Every time he moved everything from his thoracic spine, so he splintered, he was self-splinting with his own muscles. So initially he wasn't able to lie flat, so that was when he was getting a lot of the pain, was lying flat, and he was very, very fearful about moving, because he was, occasionally when he would move, he'd get a sharp pain, and that would cause the muscle spasm. He was so frightened of getting that, he'd just stop moving completely. But what he didn't realise is that was making everything a lot worse, because if you tighten your muscles, if you imagine that I get you to hold your hands like that as hard as you can for half an hour, even if you hold them there for half an hour, when I went to open them, they would be stiff and sore. And that's what so many people are doing with their necks and their backs. They're in spasm, so when they go to move, yes, it's painful, but not because they're damaging anything, but because the muscles are just so tight. So specifically with the neck fracture chap, what I got him to do is get used to kind of just moving very gently from left to right, helping to encourage him that it was safe. You know, at 2 years following a neck fracture, it's going to be healed. And we can talk through different stages of healing at a different time. But it was very, very safe for him to move. It was just the brain was perceiving it was dangerous, which is why the muscles were in spasm. Initially, when I put my hands on his skin, he had something called allodynia. And allodynia is when the brain is exposed to nociception, which is the signal before it gets to the brain. So it's unpleasant signals coming from around the body, and then the brain interprets them to see whether it's painful or not. So his brain was telling him, when I was touching his skin lightly, he was telling, the brain was telling him it was being damaged, so it was painful when I touched the skin. Now, he knew that I couldn't damage him by touching the skin, so what we did is we worked the first time very, very gently, like really gently, using lots of different types of material. A lot of people don't realise, but actually desensitization, what you want to do is you want to use things like towels, you want to use silky fabric, firm fabric, and you want to do it on the side that is not painful, so the brain understands what it's feeling, the towel for example, and then you put it on the other side. And what that does is it helps to desensitize the area, and it helps to reduce the pain, just simply by changing the afferent nerve signal, the signal that goes up to the brain, and then that has an effect on the signal that's coming back down again. So what we want to be doing is desensitizing. So the first treatment, I literally just did desensitization work, and I tried to get him able to lie down onto the bed, because before, when he was lying on the bed, he was sleeping with like 3 pillows. He was crooked to this position, and his sternocleidomastoid here was getting really, really tight. So what I was getting him to do is very gently doing a contract relax, so pushing on the pillow. Initially I had to lift his head quite high because he just couldn't relax down into it, and it took a couple of sessions to be able to do that. But once he was able to let go with these muscles, he regained his range of movement, and actually it only took, I think, 4 sessions to get him back to a level that he could then return to running sport. You know, he hadn't run for like 2 years, he hadn't been able to do anything that he enjoyed doing. So that's really what we're trying to do, is get people to a stage that they can go back to doing the things that they love, and not living a suboptimal life. You'll hear me talk about that a lot in my videos, mostly because I really believe that so many people, you don't know what you don't know, but so many people just put up with pain or live at a suboptimal level. So they might say, well, I've got a bit of pain, so I just won't do that activity. Now, that isn't a way to live long term. Of course, with certain serious injuries, we have to look and we have to say, well, perhaps, you know, cycling is going to be better than running, or perhaps you'll be better to try this sport than this sport. But I don't think we should be putting ceilings on people, and I don't think we should just be avoiding something and not living the life that we want to because of pain. Particularly when you come and see an expert, we can help you. We are very honest at the Physio Crew. Like, if it's something that we're not going to be able to help you with, we'll tell you that. And sometimes people don't like my honesty, but and if you're the sort of person that doesn't like that, then that's absolutely fine. You're probably not the best person to come and see Meg or I, or Abby or Lucy or Stuart. But if you do like people who are honest and will tell you straight and will say, you know, you need to do this, this and this to get better, and it's your responsibility, then that's, you know, we do lots of hands-on stuff. Don't mistake that for meaning that we don't get, you know, hands-on. But it's also really important that you understand that rehabilitation is a journey, and we help people on that journey. That's why we study so much, that's why we've got a degree, that's why we do postgraduate training, so that we're the experts to help you know how to get from A to B. Alright then guys, hope that's been helpful. Take care, bye bye!